Virgo, have you ever felt like someone was still standing beside you? Even though they've been gone for years, maybe it was a quiet moment you walked into a room, and the air just felt different, like their presence was wrapped around you. Or maybe you were driving, and that one song came on, and suddenly your chest tightened, your eyes welled up, and you couldn't explain why. Have you ever caught yourself holding on to a goodbye that never really happened? Waiting for closure that never arrived? If you're watching this right now, it's not random. The universe, or maybe it's your own heart, is whispering it's time. Time to finally let go of the weight that's been pressing down on your soul. Time to step through a gate you've been standing at for far too long. Today, we're going to walk together through 3 powerful gates. The gate of separation from a person, the gate of separation from the old self, and the gate of separation from a dream. Each one holds its own lesson, its own ritual, its own release. And by the end, Virgo, you'll feel lighter, freer, more open to the love that's been waiting for you. Virgo, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you stop loving or stop honoring their memory. It means you're making space. It means you're choosing to live without carrying the heaviness every single day. Sometimes we hold on so tightly, thinking we're protecting the love we shared, but all we're really doing is protecting the pain. And that pain, it's not your burden to carry forever. You've been so strong for so long. Haven't you always the one holding it together? Always the one saying, "I'm fine," when you're breaking inside. But here's the truth, the gate of release wasn't made to take something from you. It was made to return something to you. Breath, lightness, freedom. And today, I'm here to walk with you, to guide you through that gate, not to an ending, but to a beginning, one where you can finally stand tall, look up at the sky, and feel the sun again without that shadow on your chest. Virgo, I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you need to. I want you to think of the person whose absence still takes up space in your life. Maybe it's someone who passed away years ago. Maybe it's someone who left. A friend who stopped calling. A lover who walked away without giving you the closure you deserved. And even though the world kept spinning, even though you learned to smile again, they're still there. Their shadow lingers in the songs you used to share, in the smell of their Sometimes, Virgo, we hold on to the grief because it feels like the last connection we have left. We think if we let the sadness go, we're letting go of them. But what if I told you that love doesn't need pain to survive, that love doesn't disappear when the tears stop flowing? I remember a story from a woman named Claire. She told me about her father, who passed when she was just 25. Every year on his birthday, she'd light a candle and cry, feeling like that grief was her way of honoring him. Virgo, I want you to think about the signs you've seen. Have you noticed butterflies lately, landing on your window? Have you looked at the clock and seen 11:11 or 2:22 repeating over and over? Have you heard a song play in the store that reminded you so much of them, it felt like a message? These aren't coincidences. These are the quiet whispers from beyond, reminders that they're not truly gone. They're just closer to you now in ways you can't touch, but ways you can feel if you slow down enough. So today, I want to invite you into a ritual. I want you to write them a letter. Tell them everything you never got to say. Thank them. Forgive them. Tell them you love them. And when you're ready, light a candle, hold that letter close, and then burn it safely, letting the smoke rise into the night sky. Imagine those words reaching them, wrapping them in peace. Imagine them smiling back at you, saying, "It's okay. You can keep going now." Letting go doesn't mean letting them go. It means letting go of the pain, the guilt, the what-ifs that have been weighing down your chest for too long. It's about making space for their love to live inside you without the heaviness. It's about remembering them with joy instead of only sadness. I know it feels scary. I know part of you wonders, if I stop mourning, will I forget? But the truth is, you couldn't forget if you tried. They're woven into who you are now. Virgo, you've carried so much. You've been so strong. But strength doesn't mean you have to carry every burden forever. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is set it down. Sometimes healing isn't about doing something. It's about finally allowing yourself to rest. I want you to know this. They're proud of you, whether it's a parent, a friend, a lover, a sibling. You're not disappointing them by smiling again. You're not betraying them by living fully. In fact, that's what they'd want. They'd want to see you dance again, laugh again, love again, without the weight of sadness shadowing every step. And if you ever wonder if they're still with you, just close your eyes. Listen for the softness in the breeze, the warmth in a sudden ray of light, the whisper in a quiet room. That's them, watching, guiding, cheering you on. Every time you felt a peace you couldn't explain, that was them. Tonight, as you think of them, as you write that letter, as you light that candle, I hope you feel it too, a sense of lightness, a quiet knowing that you're not alone. You've never been alone. And as you let go of the grief, you're not moving away from them. You're moving closer to the love they left behind. You're letting that love guide you forward, no longer as an anchor, but as a wind at your back. Virgo, you're ready. You've been ready for a long time. It's time to walk through the gate. Virgo, can you feel it too? That little shift inside you? That sense that maybe, just maybe, you're ready. Virgo, let's talk about the version of you that you've outgrown, the you that's been holding on because it's familiar, even if it's no longer true. Sometimes the hardest goodbye isn't to another person. It's to the version of ourselves we've carried for so long. Maybe it's the part of you that always played small, that stayed quiet to keep the peace, that settled because you thought you didn't deserve more. Maybe it's the you that kept showing up for everyone else but never showed up for yourself. I remember a story from a woman named Lila. She told me she spent 15 years in a job she hated, too afraid to leave because it paid the bills, because people expected her to stay. But every day she felt like she was disappearing. And one day, sitting in her car during her lunch break, she realized she couldn't even remember what made her excited anymore. That moment, she wrote a note on a sticky pad, "I give myself permission to dream again." She didn't quit that day, but she started planning. Within a year, she left. And the day she walked out, she said it felt like she finally came home to herself. Virgo, we all carry versions of ourselves that were necessary once, but no longer fit the life we're meant to live. Maybe you've been wearing an armor that helped you survive, but now it's too heavy to keep carrying. Maybe you've been clinging to old stories. I'm not enough. I can't change. This is just how I am because they've kept you safe, even though they've also kept you small. What would happen if you let that version of you rest, not erase it, not reject it, but thank it for getting you this far, and then gently set it down? Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at your reflection, and seeing not just who you've been, but who you're becoming. That reflection doesn't need to apologize for growing. It doesn't need permission to shine. Sometimes, the most radical act of healing is allowing yourself to want more, to believe that you're allowed to want more. More peace, more joy, more ease, more love. Not because you haven't been grateful, but because your soul was never meant to stay stagnant. Virgo, here's a ritual for you. Write a letter to the version of you that's been carrying it all. Thank them for their strength. Thank them for their sacrifice. Tell them you love them. And then, when you're ready, burn that letter safely. Let the smoke rise as a symbol of release. Let it carry your gratitude, your love, and your permission to step forward. Letting go of the old you doesn't mean betraying who you were. It means honoring who you were, while stepping closer to who you're meant to be. And every time you take a step forward, you're not abandoning that version of you. You're bringing their wisdom with you. You're carrying their lessons, but leaving their pain. I know it's scary. I know part of you wonders, who am I without this role, this identity, this mask? But Virgo, who you are has always been deeper than any role you played. You've always been more than what you did for others, more than the peace you kept, more than the problems you solved, more than the burdens you carried. You are worthy of becoming, worthy of expanding, worthy of choosing a life that feels like yours. Tonight, after you burn that letter, I want you to stand outside, feel the air on your skin, look up at the sky, say these words aloud: I release who I was. I welcome who I am becoming. Say it as many times as you need. Let it echo. Let it settle into your bones. Because Virgo, you're not losing yourself. You're coming home to yourself. Virgo, can you feel it too? The weight starting to lift, the old armor loosening. There's a kind of heartbreak that doesn't always get talked about. It's the quiet ache of letting go of a dream you once held so close. Maybe it was the dream of starting your own business. Maybe it was the dream of marrying someone you thought was your forever. Or maybe it was the dream of building a family just like you imagined. Whatever it was, the moment you realize that dream isn't happening, it stings in a way that words can't quite cover. I think of J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became the legend it is. But few talk about the dreams she had to release along the way, including visions of a different kind of family life. Or Oprah, who thought her career path would be a straight line but had to pivot into roles she never expected. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it means you made space for something greater. A friend of mine spent years building a startup that never quite made it. She poured everything into it: money, time, identity. And when she finally decided to close it down, it felt like mourning. But within months, she found herself coaching other women entrepreneurs, helping them navigate struggles she knew firsthand. Her loss became her mission. Her broken dream became the bridge to her purpose. I also heard from someone who shared a beautiful ritual. They had been stuck for years, waiting on a promotion that never came, hoping a dream job would appear. One day, they took a piece of paper, wrote, "I let go," and walked to a nearby river. They placed the paper into the water and watched as the current carried it away. They told me it was the first time in years they felt free. And 3 months later, a new opportunity came, totally unexpected, in a different field, and they finally felt alive again. Buddhist teachings say we suffer not because we want too much, but because we cling too tightly. The Stoics echo this: what we resist persists. Sometimes the bravest thing is to loosen your grip and let the current carry away what no longer serves you. It's not giving up. It's opening your hands so something new can land. So tonight, try this ritual. Write down the dream you've been holding, the one that no longer holds you. Maybe it's a relationship you hoped would work. Maybe it's a job title you thought defined you. Write it. Fold the paper. Light it and let the ash fall. Then scatter the ash into water, a stream, a river, even a small bowl. Watch it dissolve. And as you do, say aloud, "I release you to the flow." Because sometimes letting go is the breakthrough. Sometimes surrender opens the very door you've been waiting to walk through. Virgo, Can you feel it too? That quiet courage building in your chest, telling you it's time. You know, there comes a moment in every journey when you have to face the beliefs that have been holding you back. And sometimes, these beliefs are so deep, so sneaky, that you don't even realize they're there until life puts a mirror right in front of you. For a lot of us, especially my Virgos out there, those beliefs sound like whispers in the back of your mind. I'm not enough. Love always ends in pain. I have to earn love by proving myself over and over. It's wild, right? How these phrases become invisible rules we carry, shaping the way we move through love, through work, through every little interaction. But what if I told you that every single one of those rules is just a story, and you can choose a different one? This brings me back to a message I got from a Virgo last month. She told me she had been stuck for years in this cycle of dating people who didn't respect her, taking jobs that underpaid her, constantly bending over backwards to earn love and approval. And then one day, she started seeing the number 555 everywhere, on license plates, on receipts, even randomly popping up on her phone. She felt like the universe was trying to tell her something. So she looked it up, and it said change is coming. Transformation is near. She decided that was her sign. Now, I know not everyone believes in signs, but whether you call it the universe, fate, or just a moment of clarity, sometimes life gives you a little nudge, and she took that nudge seriously. That night, she sat down at her kitchen table with a blank sheet of paper and wrote down every limiting belief she could think of, every line that had been running on repeat in her head since she was a little girl. Then she did something powerful. She tore that paper into pieces, and as she watched those words fall apart, she read aloud her new affirmations. I am worthy. I am loved. I am free. 2 weeks later, she emailed me again, this time with the biggest smile in her words. She had walked into a coffee shop she'd never been to before and ended up sitting next to someone who told her about a job opening. That job, it paid her double what she was making. And for the first time in years, she felt seen, respected. She told me she didn't think it was a coincidence. She felt like letting go of those old beliefs had opened a door that had been waiting for her all along. There's actually a deep connection here to Buddhist philosophy and even Stoic wisdom. Both traditions talk about the stories we tell ourselves, the attachments we cling to, the identities we defend. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from attachment, from holding too tightly to things that aren't permanent. And the Stoics, they remind us that we have the power to choose how we respond to what life throws our way. When you hold on to a belief like I'm not enough, you're holding on to suffering. You're gripping something that was never meant to define you in the first place. But here's the beautiful thing: beliefs can be rewritten. It doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with awareness, with a choice, with a tiny ritual that feels small but holds big energy. Maybe tonight's the night you grab a piece of paper, write down those old limiting beliefs, and rip them up. Speak your new truth aloud. Let it vibrate in the air around you. I am worthy. I am loved. I am free. Feel those words settle into your bones, because every time you speak them, you're planting seeds for a new story. And who knows, maybe 2 weeks from now, you'll find yourself sitting next to your own opportunity, feeling that same quiet joy, realizing that the moment you let go was the moment everything started to open. Sometimes we wait for permission to believe something different. We wait for proof, for validation, for someone to tell us it's okay to let go. But the truth is, you don't need permission. You don't need to earn your worthiness. You don't have to prove you're lovable. You already are. You've always been. And maybe the most radical act of love you can offer yourself today is to say it out loud, even if your voice shakes, even if your mind doubts. Because every time you say it, you're weakening the old script and strengthening the new one. I want you to imagine what your life could look like if you truly believed those words. What would you do differently? Who would you stop chasing? What job would you finally apply for? What boundaries would you finally set? This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a practice. And every small step counts. Every time you choose to speak love over fear, you're reclaiming your power. So tonight, I invite you to make it your ritual. Light a candle, sit quietly, write down those old beliefs that no longer serve you, then tear them up, burn them safely if you can, and as the smoke rises, let it carry those old stories away. Speak your new affirmation: I am worthy, I am loved, I am free. Say it 3 times, feel it, and then watch how life begins to mirror the love you're finally willing to claim. Virgo, take a deep breath for me right now. Seriously, just pause and breathe. I want you to imagine something. Picture the person you've been carrying in your heart, whether they've passed, whether they left, or even if it's a version of yourself that you've had trouble letting go. Imagine them sitting right beside you, quiet, still, not rushing you, not asking for anything, just being there, waiting for you to notice their presence. And as you look at them, I want you to ask yourself, what would they want ye? Because here's the thing, Virgo, love doesn't disappear. It doesn't vanish into thin air just because someone is no longer here in the way they once were. Love transforms. It changes shape. It softens. It deepens. You're not losing love, you're allowing it to evolve into something that fits where you're going now. And that shift, that's not a loss. That's growth. That's healing. That's freedom. I want you to try something with me tonight. Light a candle in your room. Place an empty chair across from you. And I want you to imagine them sitting in that chair. Picture their face, their posture, maybe even the little smile they used to give you. And then speak out loud, even if it feels silly. Say thank you. Tell them what you've been holding in your heart. Tell them the things you never got to say, the things you wished you had said when you had the chance. Say you forgive them if you need to. Say, and when you finish talking, I want you to sit in the silence. Let the words hang in the air. Let the candle flicker. And I want you to notice something, the weight that's been pressing on your chest for so long. It's a little lighter now. That's no accident. That's what happens when we honor what's been carried instead of pretending it's not there. That's what happens when we speak what our heart has been whispering all along. Virgo, the gate of release doesn't close behind you. It opens. It opens you to a life that doesn't have to be weighed down by grief. It opens you to a love that travels with you, not as a burden, but as a quiet strength. Every time you feel that ache come back, every time a memory catches you off guard, remind yourself you've already walked through. You've already opened the gate. You're allowed to keep walking. This transformation, it's not about moving on like they never mattered. It's about moving forward because they mattered so much. It's about carrying them in a way that makes you lighter, not heavier. It's about letting their love be the wind at your back, not the anchor at your feet. Tonight, as that candle burns low, I want you to know you're not alone. You've never been alone. And every step you've taken, every tear, every quiet moment of reflection, every brave decision to keep going that's been a part of your healing journey, you're further along than you think. You're stronger than you realize. And as you carry their love forward, you're also carrying yourself forward. Brighter, freer, more open. Virgo, you've done something courageous. And that courage, it's going to guide you into the next season of your life with grace, with gentleness, with a peace that you absolutely deserve. Virgo, this is the moment. I want you to sit with yourself, right here, right now. Let the tears fall, not because you're weak, but because you're finally being honest with yourself. You've been carrying so much for so long, and maybe tonight is the first time you've allowed yourself to feel it all. You're not walking away from love, Virgo. You're walking away from the weight, from the heaviness that's been pressing on your chest, from the burden of holding every unspoken word, every uncried tear, every. And if you happen to be watching this near the Pisces full moon, let me tell you something, this is not a coincidence. This is your sign. This is the universe whispering that it's time. Time to write that letter. Time to light that candle. Time to speak those words you've been holding inside. And when you're ready, burn that letter. Let the smoke rise, and when the ashes cool, scatter them under the moonlight. Let the wind carry what you've released. Let the night hold what you no longer need. Virgo, you're not saying goodbye to them. You're saying goodbye to the pain. You're not letting them go. You're letting the love stay, in a new shape, in a gentler form, woven into the fabric of who you're becoming. The gate of release doesn't close behind you. It opens. It opens a lighter road, a brighter road, a path you've earned through every step, every tear, every brave breath you've taken to get here. Virgo, it's time to walk through. It's time to trust that what's waiting on the other side isn't lonely. And if your heart feels even a little bit lighter after this, that's your sign. That's the universe nodding, saying yes, you've started. Share this video with someone you know is carrying a goodbye, and tell me your story in the comments. I read every message, every line, because you are seen, you are loved, and Virgo, you are ready.